We are going to get started because Jorden told me when we were backstage that usually this presentation is about 2 hours, and Jordan's going to condense it to about 40 minutes for us with some time for Q&A. So we're just going to get started right away.
Okay.
I'm Sam. I am your host and moderator for today's webinar. It's a privilege to be able to lead this webinar series. SafetyWing has been working on this for the last 3 months, and all of the replays are on YouTube. So if this is your first one you're joining, please get caught up. They're all filled with jam-packed value. So it's been really fun for me to meet all these creators and host these webinars. When I'm not doing this, I host a podcast and community of my own. It's called The Freedom Lifestyle, helps you work from anywhere, make financial independence, and of course, schedule freedom. So that's what I'm about. And Jorden is today's speaker. So Jorden Tually, travel creator, explores the world for a living, funds his adventures by creating engaging short-term videos for the internet, which is working. It's gained him over 4 million followers online. He's worked with well-known brands internationally like Royal Caribbean, Sony, Marriott Hotels. So we're very excited to learn from you. Welcome. We are going to do some Q&A at the end. So you can see there's a Q&A box. If you have questions as we're going through, put them in there. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to come back. I'm going to give Jorden some of our top questions that were repeated a few times, and he's going to answer them for us. If this is your first time attending a webinar series of ours, it's hosted by SafetyWing, and we have a vision of building a global social safety net for remote workers and for nomads. And so I'm imagining, this is a very international group here in the chat from what we did. I'm imagining many of you are working remotely in some capacity, living that nomadic lifestyle. And so SafetyWing is creating products for all of us in mind. And the mission is to create a home country on the internet. So essentially removing any type of geographical borders and barriers that would stop someone from having equal opportunities and equal freedom. And we have a number of products. The one we're most known for is Nomad Insurance, which basically gives you affordable health and medical coverage whenever you're working from outside of your home country. And so medical coverage would be really helpful if you had unexpected travel costs. Maybe you were in an accident or you're sick while you were traveling, or for travel coverage, maybe you had a delay, you lost your checked luggage, any type of national disaster, all of that you're covered, and it works just like a subscription. So automatic payments every single month for as long as you travel makes long-term travel a breeze. So on that note, Jorden, I'm going to kick things off to you. And you're going to teach us how you've done all of this. And by the end, I'm hoping to be able to do it too.
Awesome. Okay. So first of all, thank you so much for that awesome intro. And SafetyWing is so cool because I haven't been a travel insurance company that is it's so ambitious with their goals. So I love that. And I love that you're creating a cool little community on the internet where everyone can share in the rewards, which is freedom of working abroad and chasing your passions. So quick intro again. My name is Jorden. You probably know about me because you probably follow me on Instagram or YouTube or something like that. But I've been traveling for the past 7 years. And the last 2.5, 3 years, I started doing short form content. And it took my global audience on the internet from pre-short form video. I had 150,000 people that followed me on Instagram and maybe 20,000, 30,000 on YouTube. And now post short form, well, not post, I'm in it still. But now with short form, I've grown that from about 200,000 followers all the way to 4 million in the last couple of years. So short form is I'm very passionate about short form video. And yeah, I'm hoping that I can bring you as much value as possible over the next 40 minutes or so. Basically, my goal here is to just break down what creates a really good short form video, how you can get started, and sort of the mindset you need to sort of just be able to put yourself on the internet, be able to create content constantly on the internet, and potentially make this little side passion potentially full time if you commit to it for a long enough period of time. So yeah. So I'm going to go straight into sharing my screen. Okay, here we go. Ooh la la. And now let me make this full screen. Oh, that's fine. How do we use full screen this thing? Full screen mode.
I think we
Okay.
just saw it under view.
Oh,
Perfect.
is it good?
It's amazing.
Okay. So, well, let's get straight into it. The power of short form. So, short form has blown up the internet the last couple of years. Basically, we are getting way quicker attention spans due to mobile phones, and everyone's sort of just being digitally accessible, and the internet is so accessible these days. It's a really quick and easy way to communicate with any information. So it's really easy to share, and it's really good at selling products on the internet, which is probably one of the main reasons why it's taken off so much, because, you know, when there's market share and there's a lot of money involved, brands, companies, social media companies, and everyone wants to just invest in that because they are seeing a direct benefit. So there's a lot of reasons why there is so much power in short form. And yes, TikTok is a huge part of that. So basically in 2019, TikTok sort of like started picking up a lot of traction. And then during the pandemic, it went crazy. And now, if you haven't noticed on social media, every platform is kind of like TikTok, which 3 years ago, you couldn't say that. So now you've got TikTok has short form videos, YouTube has shorts, Instagram has reels, Snapchat has Discover, Facebook has reels as well. Pinterest have their own short form. I'm not sure what their word is for that. And Twitter has short form video as well, and they're pushing that into the new year. So every platform has shorts. If you do want to grow on social media and you do want to sort of like try and build a little loyal audience and people that love your content, and you want to start, you should probably look into shorts, because every single algorithm on the internet is loving it right now. And yes, you can decide to join the bandwagon and benefit from it. So there are a few challenges when it comes to short form. I've had many over the last 3 years, but the main things I struggled with was trying to condense what could be, who knows, a couple days of storytelling or a week of an adventure down into 60 seconds or less. Along with that, now because it's so popular, there has become a flood of people that are doing short form video, which is awesome. I love it, but you are going to be competing with other people. So you have to try and find a way to stand out. Not overthinking my content was a huge one, which we'll probably talk a little bit about later, because yes, I think as all creatives, we can get into ruts where we go, is it good enough? Is it good enough? Is it good enough? And we never end up posting it on the internet. And yeah, we just sort of get in like a block. Yes, and grabbing and holding people's attention is it can be a hard thing to do, but I'm going to teach you guys sort of techniques to make sure you have more opportunity in that way. And spending way too much time on one video, these are things that I have learned I have to like stop doing, because I can start fiddling around with one video for way too long. And all of a sudden it's like weeks have gone by and I'm like, no, I should just post this video. So I've gotten a bit more of a flow state now, but it took a little while to get there. And we're going to go through all this in the next 30 minutes. So to simplify everything, like what platform should I be on? Why should I be on that? I like TikTok more than Instagram. I like YouTube more than bar. All of that can be simplified into, don't worry about that. Just focus on making one 30-second video or less, just one short video, and post it on all platforms. We get often caught up in this game of like, TikTok's better than this or whatever. But at the end of the day, TikTok has 1 billion people on their platform. Instagram has 1 billion people on their platform. YouTube has like 1 point something billion people on their platform. So why deny a potential audience? I have seen many creators do this where they have a lot of followers on Instagram, and when they post on Instagram, they can guarantee a certain amount of views. And they're like, well, I'm getting a lot of views on Instagram, but when I post the same thing on TikTok, I'm not getting as many views. So then they just block TikTok from their life, and they don't even want to keep posting on TikTok because they haven't seen that initial upkick in views, or vice versa. This kills me, because you're just denying yourself more eyes on your content, maybe loyal followers, and potential brands that will see your stuff. So although we want to like put a personality to certain platforms, this TikTok, this algorithm doesn't like me, this platform does like me. At the end of the day, post it everywhere. And it hasn't been more simple, because back in 2019, I was making long form videos. I was making Instagram stories, Instagram photos, and I was doing all these different things. And now in 2023, we're not there yet. In 2022, I can just wake up, I can commit to making one video, I can post to all platforms. It's really simplified the process for me as a creator. And yes, so I want to get that in your head really early on, is that just, it's not as overwhelming as you think. Just simplify it. 30 seconds, one video, done. So how to find an idea out of nothing. Now, this is where it all begins, because when you're posting on content on the internet, you've got to come up with an idea, and that idea will eventually turn all the way into a story and a short form video. But when it comes down to it, I believe that this is the mindset you need when you're going into creating short form video, which is expect nothing. So maybe your video does really well. Maybe you get one view. Doesn't matter. Just expect nothing, because if you enjoy it, you've got to enjoy it. First of all, you got to have that passion to sort of like talk on the internet about whatever you're creating. You got to enjoy creating these videos. So if you enjoy it, you should have no more expectation, because if it flops and it doesn't do very well, it doesn't matter. You had a great time. My personal experience with traveling is from a business perspective, it's been very hard for me. Like, it took me like 6 or 7 years to get to a place where I feel comfortable with my finances. But that mainly comes down to because my expectation was I just wanted to travel the world. That's all I wanted to do. And that's still all I want to do. So my goals weren't necessarily financial or monetary. So after a year or two, I figured out, oh, traveling the world is not so hard. And I just was happy to do that. Maybe I've made less money than other people, and other people in my position could have maybe, like, I don't know, done more. But I'm so happy just traveling, and that's all I really want to do. So when it comes down to it, that's my mindset, and I don't expect anything out of that. And the same is with short form video. So don't expect anything out of it. You're not going to go viral overnight, and it's going to take time. That's why you have to be consistent. I posted every day. Actually, I have like a little streak in my brain when I'm posting every day online. And on YouTube, I think now I'm up to like 65 videos in a row, or 55 videos in a row every day. I took a 2-week break on YouTube, and I regret it because I had such a long streak. But yeah, being consistent is very important, because how can you expect other people to love your brand and love getting to know you a bit better unless you're constantly sort of like sharing your life or sharing something on the internet? And there is no such thing as a bad idea. This is the most important that we're going to talk about as we go through. I know it sounds cliche, but there really is no such thing as a bad idea, because if you're a really good storyteller, you can make a really, like, what would say is like just a normal thing into a really engaging story. And that's what we're going to go talk through. So most people, when it comes down to creating content, they want to plan, structure, script it up, edit it nice, make it all perfect, and then post it on the internet. But unfortunately, with short form video, we're trying to be consistent. We're trying to post potentially every day, and we are trying to bring people into our lives just in these little snippets, because short form is just like a little thought rather than like a whole movie. So my method, instead of planning everything, I just document everything and I create the content later. So what that kind of means is I film everything around the day. That will be just like maybe my legs walking down the street. Maybe it's me opening a door. Then maybe it's like, a museum I'm going to, or a little interaction I saw, or something funny in the street. I just film all these interesting things. It doesn't mean you have to film constantly, but just these little interesting things throughout the day. You're just filming, blah, 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 blah. And then I write down all my ideas on my notes on my app, on my phone. So I'm filming everything generally, and then I'm just writing down ideas on the go. This doesn't have to be as well. This doesn't have to be just about travel. This can be in your daily life. If you live a 9-to-5, which is totally fine, totally awesome. yeah, you can still have this mindset and you can still create content. This is not focused around being a travel content creator, but just being a content creator in general. So yeah, just write down ideas on the go. So that means like, let's say you went and got a drink and usually your drink is like $3.20 and you get a coffee every morning and it's $3.20. Today, they charged you $4 and you're like, that's weird. So then I just type in my notes, charge me extra for coffee. That's it. Very simple idea. A lot of you are probably going, that's a stupid idea, Jordan. It's not a stupid idea because there's no such thing as a bad idea. And anything can be turned into a good story. So throughout my day, maybe I see a funny billboard on the street and I go, that's funny how they marked it that way, or that's funny how I got my attention with that funny billboard. Write it in my notes. And I'll just generally do this. And then when I get to the end of the day, I'm going to have all of these random ideas that I came up with from my brain in the day. A lot of the times I read my ideas later and I'm like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I don't even know what that relates to, but I wrote it down. So yes, and then we turn that into a story. So film everything. And before we move forward as well, I want to get your mindset into sort of like, I don't know, like a creator mindset. And this is going to be very unpopular advice, but if other creators saw me saying this, they would be like, Jordan, this is totally wrong. What are you trying to do? What is your, like, you're the worst. But this is for sure good advice. I promise you. Copy, create. So if you are stuck and you don't know where to start, but you're following me and you see my content, you're like, hey, so Jordan does this content for travel, but I'm really passionate about cooking. So I'm just going to copy Jordan and use his format and the way he does videos about cooking. And I'm going to, like, you know, make cooking videos. Or even if you love travel, you can copy me exactly for travel. Let's say I go down the street here. I'm in Mexico City right now. Let's say I go down to the street in Mexico City and I see a really cool museum and you really love that video and you think that video is really cool. Take my video, look at exactly the things I film, the things I say, and how I create that video and copy it. Exactly. Put it on the internet. You might get some people saying, you copied this creator, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's how you learn best. So I've copied, everyone copies. A lot of people justify the word copy by saying they were inspired by, which is like a politically correct term, I guess, that, you know, I was inspired by Jordan to create that video or whatever. But end of the day, Picasso says this quote, and it's the best, which is good artists copy, great artists steal. So I personally do not think that I was the first person to do this style of travel content. There's probably people on the internet that did it before me, and I probably saw it, and my subconscious or just my blatant like desire to wanting to do this for a living and my drive decided that's really good, that's working, that's being successful, I'm going to do that. And now a lot of people associate this travel content or the format in which I do my videos with me. I probably didn't do it first, but I've done it so consistently and I sort of formed my own way that I straight up probably just stole from the internet, stole from another creator, and now people think that I am the person that does it. So yes, this is a really good quote that I think everyone should get in their mind. That is good artist copy, great artist steal. So if you're really into it and you're learning a lot from other creators that you're copying, you'll eventually find your own path and people will eventually love your unique content for the way you're creating it. So along with that, quantity creates quality. A lot of people tell you quality over quantity, but I'm here to tell you in short form that, or even on the internet with any social media, that is just totally not true. You can create quality. There are exceptions to the rule. There are people that on the internet create one amazing video every single month and it does really well. But on a whole, especially when you're starting out, quantity is going to be your friend because you don't really know where to start. So the way I do it is like the more you post, the better you'll get. So even if it's not a good video, it's great to get into the mindset of posting every day or just creating as much content as possible. And eventually the quantity will be there, but eventually you'll see like the quality increase because you're like practicing and flexing that muscle of creativity every day. So eventually over time, the quantity will always be there, but the quality will come if you just like commit to the craft. So when it comes to ideas, you got to look at what you wrote down in the day. Funny things, like right now I'm on this Zoom call with you guys. So I'll write down there, oh, SafetyWing Zoom call, funny thing, blah, 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 whatever. I just write down any notes. And then if you do forget to write down notes, because I know it's like it can be a bit annoying starting out, or you just forget. Sometimes the days are just too crazy. So here's some questions that I use to spark ideas. Note that if any of this is going a bit too fast, it's all being recorded, so you can go through it another day. It's on YouTube, so it's all good. But yeah, so what's the most interesting happened today? What made you smile? What made you laugh? What's your biggest fear? What's something really annoying about your life right now? What's something you really care about? All of these questions here can easily be short form videos. Like you can make really fun 15, 30-second videos out of these questions, and they can spark multiple things. I could make 100 videos about what is something that made you smile recently. I could make a whole series on the internet right now. Boom. Oh, things that make me smile. Part 1. Bang. Show a cute puppy, whatever. But yeah, so there's just a bunch of ideas that you can look at, and you can, help spark ideas for your content. Along with that, draw from emotion. So let's say I got my coffee. It was $3.40, and now they're charging me $4 overnight. How absurd is that? It's gone from $3.40 to $4. Draw from emotion. So like my worst nightmare came true: fear, confused, curious, anxiety, awe, excitement, joy, relief, all of these things. So if I'm with the coffee and I'm joyful, I can go like, I got charged, like maybe the start of the video was like, I got overcharged on my coffee, but you know what? It makes me happy. And then people are like, hang on, why are they happy they got charged more money? And you can go into a story about how they increased the prices because there was demand, and you actually really love the local barista that does your coffee in the morning. It's a locally run family, whatever that is. Or maybe you can be angry. So you go, I'm so furious because I just got charged 60 more cents. And this is why. And then you can do a calculation where it's like, okay, so 60 cents isn't that much, but over 365 days, 60 cents is going to be something like, I don't know, $180, $200, which is a lot of money. And you can just talk about your little rant for 20 seconds like that. So yes, drawing from emotion is a great way to sort of like spark ideas and create, sort of like get you out of a creative block and start creating content. So you got to pick an idea, and then you've got to get ready to turn that idea into a story. So one thing I just thought whilst writing this up yesterday and this morning is that SafetyWing has an ambassador program that's super awesome. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, if SafetyWing are bringing me on board to do this Zoom with you guys, they obviously want to work with me. So I'm like here going, I need to provide SafetyWing with as much value as I can, so they can become a recurring client, and that SafetyWing go, you know what, Jorden is pretty cool. We should hire him again, or we should get him to do this thing again, and I'm like, yes, that's good, because I always need travel insurance as well. And yeah, so my thing is they have this really cool thing that I'll talk about a little bit later, where basically like they've got a really good ambassador program, as you heard. So I'm thinking in my head, here's an idea. I'll create a way, because they've got such a good affiliate marketing system where you can earn money like by referring a friend. I should make a short video on the internet talking about how I can make money through SafetyWing just by affiliate marketing. And then maybe if that video goes viral, I can get a bunch of signups, because everyone needs travel insurance, right? I can get a bunch of signups and make a bunch of passive income that way. So that is an easy idea for me to do, straight like that. Yeah, so we're going to talk about now how to turn that idea that I have into an actual story, a physical story. Obviously, that's a very niche example with SafetyWing. You can use any idea when it comes down to like maybe your favorite country. Like, oh, I want to talk about my favorite country, which is the Philippines. So there's many ideas, and we're going to talk about how we're going to turn that into a story. So basically, with all short form video, the story has to have a structure. Every story has a structure, no matter if it's, you know, Walt Disney movie production, two-hour long story, or if it's just a quick 30-second story. It all happens to have a hook, a setup, a plot, and the result. So this is a quick breakdown of what you're going to do to sort of like set yourself up for success with short form, which is you're going to hook people in as fast as you possibly can, because this is the most important. The hook is by far the most important thing. We're not going to go too deep into the setup, the plot, and the result, because one, they're a little bit more self-explanatory and we don't have too much time, but the hook is very important. If you can look at my videos on the internet, I always have a hook, whether that's like, I don't know, like if I was talking about the coffee, like I was earlier, you know, getting ripped off 60 cents or whatever, getting angry, having anger towards that thing. So my hook might be like, I just got ripped off and you're not going to believe how. Done. That was 2 seconds of people's time. And yeah, I think that is enough for people to potentially stay on the video, because they're either going to swipe or stay, and you're hoping that they stay. So here is a bunch of hooks that you can use right now. There's many ways, but I just thought I'd write down a bunch that you can use right now that I think are pretty decent. So if you're talking about, let's say, your favorite country in the world, and that's a video you want to create, you're like, oh, I love the Philippines, I want to create a video about the Philippines. So yeah, today I decided to whatever. So it's like, today I decided to look at flights to the Philippines. And then people are like, oh, he's going to the Philippines? Or you won't believe this, or 10 reasons why, or here's something you didn't know. Here's something you didn't know about the Philippines that I think might interest you. Things like that. Or a simple important tip. Like here is one simple important tip for your next trip to the Philippines. Like three things I wished I knew earlier before traveling to the Philippines. Or like you could do that as well with SafetyWing. Here are 3 things I wish earlier before buying travel insurance. You know, so there's many ways you can just do this. I'll just keep running them off. I know I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here, but why is nobody talking about that? Here's why here are 5 tips to help you. How I traveled to the Philippines in less than 24 hours, or how I got ripped off with my coffee in less than 24 hours, or how I lost money in less than 24 hours. How I made money in less than 24 hours. And that can just be through, like, you know, you going into SafetyWing's blah, blah, blah thing. So there's a lot of cool hooks. Yeah, a lot of cool hooks that you can use. But basically, yeah, that's like a very quick crunch the numbers recap of how short form video works. I'm sure there's going to be some questions that we can sort of like get into specifics, because that's a lot to like digest. But if I was to break it down very simply, it would be get an idea. So write down just random thoughts of your day, interactions you have, thoughts or things you read, or articles you find interesting, you know, like creators you love, all of that stuff. Write down any sort of random idea you have, because there's no such thing as a bad idea. And then film absolutely everything of your life, especially if it relates to the idea that you just thought of. You know, if you're reading a book, like film yourself reading a book. If you read something on the internet, screenshot what you read. Like, all of these little snippets of content can help create a really good story. So you're going to film everything. All I do, here's my phone right here. All I do is just film everything, me opening doors, me walking, my emotions, me being like, like if I'm thinking, I just like film myself thinking. So film everything. And yeah, then what you're going to do is you're going to sit down at the end of the day. You're going to go, here's an idea. I'm going to take this idea and I'm going to turn this into a story. So one thing I did forget to mention is that when you're going to start creating the story, then you got to bring that hook in. So you don't even have to film like what you've filmed in the day, and then how you create your hook can be separate things. A lot of the stories that I tell, I'm creating the intro and the hook in like a hotel room like this. So I'm not even like, let's say I'm talking about a trip I did to Pakistan this summer, like 3 months ago. I'm in a room. I'm not in Pakistan trying to make the hook. I'm just in a room going, what's the best hook? What's the best hook? And then I can go, oh, you won't believe what just happened when I visit. You won't believe this thing that happened in Pakistan. And then I can like go into the video. So yeah, you don't have to be like in the exact location when you're filming the hook and the intro. You just have to make sure it's interesting enough that people don't swipe away. So let's go back with the country thing. And I'm saying I want to talk about the Philippines. I'll be like, welcome to the best country I've ever visited. And then I'll go in, and I just did that whole intro in my random hotel room, nowhere near the Philippines. But then, because I've got so much content, because I'm in the mindset of filming every day. So when I was in the Philippines, I was just filming everything. Little things that add to the story. Me getting in the car, me shaking the driver's hand, or like me giving a tip, or me eating food, whatever it is, I'm just filming it. And then, as you can probably see from a lot of my content, I do voiceovers. So I'm going to have these little snippets of videos that I can sort of bring in with a voiceover and go, so I was walking down the street one day and I saw that there was blah, 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 blah. This was happening. And they charged me 60 cents for my coffee extra. And it's just video. It's probably just a video of the receipt or whatever. Like you're just filming the receipt. So it's just these little things that can bring it along. And then you can wrap it up very easily in the same hotel room with your emotions and your thoughts or whatever. And that ties back to the plot, the conflict, and the result. So actually, let's just quickly break down this here in the coffee video that I just thought about. So it would be like, I can't believe I just got ripped off by my own barista. Goes into the thing, the setup. Every day I walk and I go to the same coffee store. And it's just me filming my legs, opening the door, grabbing a coffee. And then one day I noticed, and it would be just a video of me going, what? I could probably film that right here. Just a video of me going, what? I noticed I was getting charged 60 cents more and I didn't even know. And then you can be like, oh my gosh, like emotion. And then you can just have a video, or you can just like have a video of you just generally like in the coffee shop or whatever. And the whole voiceover is just going. And then I asked the barista and he said, maybe you got some B-roll of people waiting in the line or the barista working. I asked the barista and they said, blah, 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 blah. It's because they've got too much demand and they're going out of business and they're a small business. And then the outro is like, so I tipped him $3 extra because I love this coffee and I love this company and I love this family run business. So as you can see, like I just like sort of thought that out in my whole head. The intro and the outro, I can film like anywhere in the world. Even the emotions with my face, I can film anywhere in the world. And I'm just filming everything in the day. So I'm just getting these little like snippets of whatever. You can also just get coffee shop videos on the internet. It doesn't have to be your content. There's a lot of copyright free content you can steal from the internet. As I was saying before at the start with the whole Picasso thing, copy, take. I'm very much an ask for forgiveness sort of person. So if someone goes, hey, that's my content, then you're like, oh yeah, sorry, like here's your credit, whatever. But at the start, like you got to get out of your head. You got to start just sharing your daily life, making these small little minute ideas into these 20 second stories that might be very relatable to an audience. And then if you post that every single day and you post something every day, even if it's bad, post it, because that's how you're going to get better. Quantity, your quality will improve. And then, yeah, there's so much more I could talk. I'm trying to cram it all in as much as possible, but I would say those are the core things. Ignoring views. People always want to like, they're like, oh, I'm so discouraged because of views. You've really got to take your ego out of it. You've got to not care. As soon as people start caring about the views, especially early on, it's because they feel entitled to, oh, I thought this was a good video and it only got 10 views, or it only got 100 views, or it only got 1,000 views, depending on what your expectation is. Because as I said earlier, expectation should be 0. Take your ego completely out of it. Share your passions, share what you're passionate about creating, or the videos you love making, and eventually it will take off. It is just about consistency, time, and refining your skill. But yeah, this is the method that I use to sort of go through. And before we get to the question and answer, I will say this is actually super awesome from SafetyWing. So as you know, SafetyWing is running this webinar, but they actually are going to give you $100 for practicing the skills you learn in this workshop. So basically, when you sign up for the ambassador program, if you haven't already, you can post a short form video about the insurance, and you can earn, and they'll give you $100 for doing that. So basically, they're trying to encourage everyone to get out there, create content, and they want people to know about the whole affiliate marketing thing that's going on with them, which is actually awesome because they give you 10%. So basically, every time I post about, hey, you need travel insurance, like click this link. When I do that on the internet and people sign up through it, let's say people sign up and they get insurance for a month and it costs them $100 to be insured whilst they're traveling. One, that's perfect for me because I'm always getting people that love traveling. So I would get $10 straight away just from people using my link. So yeah, they're trying to challenge you to create a short form video around their ambassador program so they can get the word out about their ambassador program. You guys can make maybe a little bit of money on the side. And also you can create your first short form video if you haven't. And they're just going to give you $100 for that. SafetyWing will go, congratulations, that's your first short form video. We love that. Here's $100. Now, I'm sure there might be some other things that I'm not saying, but yeah, that's just a little recap that I'm challenging you. I would love to see your short form videos. Definitely tag me if you do make any. But that have been inspired from this quick chat. I hope it wasn't too rushed, but we can go through as long as we need with the question and answer so we can really define and sort of like, yeah, like, because I'm sure there's lots of questions because I went through that quite quickly. But yeah, hopefully you're not annoyed at my voice and you learned something.
I thought it was great. You did an awesome job. And you're right. We've got tons of questions. I think this is the most amount of questions I've seen on a webinar so far. So have some of that water, take a breather. One of the questions that came up a few times is the specific hardware and software you use. So I know you started with a Google Pixel phone, now back on the iPhone. How much do you think the type of phone? Someone said that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I was like, I thought you knew that. I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy that you knew that. Okay, someone in there. That's
yeah, one of your loyal followers, Plummy, knew that. So
legend.
How much do you think the type of phone matters for videos? And then can you just name drop some of the tools you're using to create your videos? I know you mentioned pulling non-copyright videos from the internet. I remember when you were saying that, I was like, I wonder what the source is. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite.
Honestly, even copyright videos. I'm very relentless with this. Like if people are upset that you're stealing their video, that means you're being successful because it's being viewed by a lot of people. So like, just take it and then ask for forgiveness later. That's my humble opinion. It's not a popular one, but yes. Anyway. Yes. Okay. It's funny that everyone asks about gear. I just posted a video on my Instagram running through all my gear. Like literally it's literally like a 20-second video of what's inside my camera bag. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. So you can go check that out. But I would say, which is the craziest thing, because I have these Sony cameras, I have the Insta360, the GoPro, a drone. I have all these things because I really do love creating content with all of these different sort of like, aspects, but I only use a phone for like 90% of it. I do personally love using the iPhone, mainly because I'm stuck in the MacBook world. And I think that when it comes to social media, it's a lot easier to use an iPhone than it is like potentially other Android phones, because the iPhone is like, I feel like on stories, and it's all like the same. Like everyone that has an iPhone has the same format of uploading, and Instagram and TikTok, they know how to interact with an iPhone very well when it comes to compressing the video or posting like the right framing. Where with Android, you know, every iPhone is like the same size, but an Android can be any sort of shape and size. So it's going to be a little bit different or more technical, but it's still possible. I have many friends that use Android, but that's my personal opinion. I like using an iPhone. But I would say like 90% of my content comes from, yeah, me filming my day on my iPhone. 10% if I'm going diving, you know, use a GoPro, or sometimes a really nice drone shot. But yeah, 90% of my content is just a simple phone. So that's like, this is why it's so awesome now, because anyone can sort of get involved. The creator economy is booming, and it's only getting more and more popular, and there's more and more opportunity to make money and sort of do it for a living and create a cool following, because the algorithm is working really well. Like good content gets seen. So yeah, fun.
Amazing. And if you're putting all that content on your phone, how are you able to store all of that? Like, are you uploading it through some kind of clouding software? Do you just have like the biggest phone storage you could possibly have? And then what about content organizing? Because I know for me, and I can't even imagine doing content creation full time. Like my phone is constantly just screenshots, videos, all of there. How do you keep yourself organized, and how do you store all of that content if you're recording every day?
Okay, cool. Yeah. So one, I actually edit my content on my laptop for the most part, because I do just like having bigger screen. But if I am on the run, I will use, I'll just edit on my phone. It's really not a big deal. You can edit directly in like TikTok or Instagram. Like that's pretty good these days, but I use an app called Splice to edit mine. But there's so many, there's InShot, there's many ways to edit. But when it comes to organizing, I use these little hard drives. So my phone is 256 gigs. That's the most annoying thing about an iPhone is, one, they're super expensive. Two, they really limit your size. So I only have 256 gigs on this. I fill 256 gigs up like within a month, like super quick. So I store it all on these little hard drives. I have like March, April, May, June. And then in March, April, May, June, I have like March, click in. Mexico City, click in. And then I'll have, because the iPhone just takes like when the date is, I'll have day 1, day 2, day 3, whatever I did in there. So there's many ways you can do it. I'm probably not the best at organizing things, but when it comes to the daily turnover of creating a short video, I find that I just select the last day, put it on my laptop, edit it down, voice over, post. So yeah, but these are good little hard drives.
Nice. And then what about if you're somebody who doesn't like being on camera, being the face of video? How important do you think it is for us to have our actual faces in the video? What if I don't even want my own voice? What if I don't even want voiceover? How important is having my own face and my own voice in my content? And two, if I'm a hard no, does that prevent me from being a content creator? What would you advise at that point?
Yeah. So one, you don't like, although building a personal brand is probably the easiest way to, you know, gain an audience. That's from my experience. 100%, you don't need to do that. There's a YouTuber called Dream, and I mean, ironically, like he revealed his face like 6 months ago, but for the last like, I don't know, I think it was like 4 years, no one even knew who this guy was. He posted gaming videos, and yeah, no one knew who this guy was. Everyone was always like, what does he actually look like? But he gained like 10, 20 million followers on the internet without even putting his face on there once. So you definitely don't need to use your face or your own voice. But I would say, like, if you can get comfortable in front of the camera, you are going to have a bigger step forward compared to most creators, because getting in comfortable in front of the camera is one of the key things that means people won't be able to recreate your content. So people can try and copy me, and I advise people to copy me. Like if you really don't know what you're posting, just copy me. But it's going to be very hard, because I have learned to sort of like know how the camera works. I'm very comfortable in talking in front of the camera, so it's easy like that. But if you don't want to do it, you can just do like, let's say it's a day in the life with me, and it's just snippets, like 2-second snippets of like, scenery. You're in the country and you're just like doing like day in the life, like none of your personal brand or your face is in there. And you can use the automated like robot sounds, like voiceover, those like Siri sounding things like, welcome to a day in the life, so there's many ways you can do it without having to put your face in the frame. But I will say it is going to be, you'll have to get a little bit more creative to keep it up. Then, I feel like just putting your face in the frame and talking it's like a lazy method that is quite socially acceptable. So you can do it, but you have to think of different angles to come from. But it's definitely possible.
Have you ever played around with the software called Descript, where it basically, this is my like mind-blowing tool where it basically, you can pull in a podcast episode or a YouTube video, automatically transcribes it. So when you're editing your content, you're editing it almost like a blog post. So I'm like erasing sentences and it's chopping it up. So that's definitely my favorite tool. And they just came out with a library of video content that you can pull from the internet that's copyright free. And so, I'll send a link to that one too.
Awesome. Yeah.
What about the business side of things? So, everybody loves that story of like your first post, or, when you decided to go for it, or the moment that you realized, hey, I could do this full time. Tell us that story, inspire us with what was the moment where you realized I could take this seriously, and, maybe even like the first aha moment.
Okay, cool. So basically 2015, I took a gap year. I graduated from university, graphic design degree, and I thought, I'm going to take a gap year. I'm 22, like I have a degree, whatever. I'll just like, if I fluff a year away, it doesn't matter. So I went overseas. I worked at a summer camp in Canada, and I traveled for about 3 to 6 months. I think I was overseas for a total of like 8 months, including 3 months of the summer camp. And that I had 10 grand, spent like half of it because I was trying to do it on a budget. But I realized like, oh my gosh, at the end of that year, I was like, I love travel. Like I love travel way more than graphic design. So realistically, I sat down at the end of that year. I spent like 6 or 7 grand because of summer camp, like 3 months long. I made a bit of money, worked a little bit, and travel with friends, that sort of thing. So I sat down at the end of the year and I said, how can I do this full time? I have $4,000 to my name, and I just had the best year of my life. So without really knowing too much, I just said, I'll just do that year again. So I went and I did the exact same year again. And on that year, I knew I was passionate about travel. And so I went back to the summer camp, did the whole thing. But one difference was I met this guy called Jackson in Hawaii. He was starting a blog and social media. And he was like, dude, I was a graphic designer. So I was already taking a lot of photos and doing some fun things. But he was like, you're already taking photos. Like, you should just post it on social media, get that thing going, because like, then you can travel for as long as you want if you can make that a thing. I was like, oh my gosh, really? So then from 2016 to 2018, I had this like big learning experience where I was still traveling. I still worked at the summer camp because I couldn't afford anything else. And I could go to the summer camp 3 months. They would pay for accommodation and food and all that sort of stuff. So, but then I spent the next 2 years just sort of like figuring it out because I was so passionate about wanting to travel the world. And that's when I was happy. So 2018, took the plunge in doing a full year of travel with no help from summer camp or anything like that. And when I took that full year plunge, I was like, I could literally just like have no money. Like halfway through the trip, I'll have no money. But I'm very lucky in regards to my upbringing and knowing that my mom and dad, if I did like fall on my face, like I could do that, like that tail between the legs phone call and say, Mom, Dad, I've run out of money. I don't have any money. Can you buy me a flight home to Australia? So I knew that I had a safety network in place, and I was like 24 at the time. So I was like if I want, I can just go back and live an Australian life, a normal Australian life that everyone is doing. So I didn't think there was much risk involved because if I fall on my face, yeah, my ego will be hit a little, and I'll just tell mom, and I'll eventually like work and pay back the money, and like I can stay at my mom's house for a little bit or whatever. But I knew that the risk was very minimal, because like even now, if everything turns bottoms up for me with my business right now, I can go back to Australia, find a job, work a normal job, live a normal life, have a good life in Australia. And I'm very lucky in that regard. I can always, that is never leaving. So I thought, why not take the risk, especially because I'm 20 something. I don't have kids. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have all these things. So yeah, I did it. I risked it. 2018 was awesome. I didn't make money. I made like, I don't know, like $5,000 or something in 2018. Not much, 10 grand maybe, but I got a lot of free things, and that was helpful. Like the free trains, free planes, in exchange for content. And that's when the business side of me started. Like, I was like, just so stoked to get free stuff that I should have been asking for money. Like I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, you worked with that company and you did it for free, knowing that they have all of this budget. But again, because I was stoked just to travel, I didn't really care. So now, move forward. I've got invested in like the business side of things a bit more. I really love the whole business aspect of the travel world and social media. And now I'm a little bit more stable than I was back in 2019. Yeah, especially with the pandemic, travel basically being illegal. I didn't really earn much money through that time, but yeah, it's an up and down flow. But I'm just very happy to be, again, traveling full time, doing what I love, and I have the freedom to, yeah, like chase my passions and live my dream. So it's not like I'm a millionaire, you know. Like once I'm a millionaire, I'm sure I'll be like all these other influencers that would just be like, how I made my money, and then they'll just try and like, you know, get you to sign up to their program. That will come, but I need to make $1 million first, and I haven't done that. But I definitely like started slow and was a slow thing. It took me 7 years, but I do believe that if you are dedicated to doing it and it's something you love and you can make it work and dedicate the time, you know, if it took me 20 years, it would have taken me 20 years. Like I was just very happy with what I was doing. I was happy traveling, and anything on top of that was a bonus. So yeah, the whole money aspect can get a little bit, you know, people can get in their head about it. But hey, if you're happy to do it, like I'm happy to travel and do this for free. Don't tell the brands that, but I'm happy to travel and like do this for free until I'm 80 years old. That's just generally like what I love doing. So if I make no money until I'm 80, it doesn't matter, because I just like live the best life. I like did whatever I wanted to do. So yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing. But now I make a comfortable income, and yeah, it's great. So now I have even more freedom to do more adventures and make better content. And now all I try and think about is putting all the money I make back into making more videos, because that's what I love. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Probably not that inspirational, but.
No, I think it's very inspirational. One of the things that you mentioned that stood out to me is how long it takes. I think a lot of us have these big dreams and we underestimate how long it could take to make the dream happen. And we have this arbitrary idea of like how long something should take. We have no idea how long a dream should take to come true. It's different from everyone. So it sounds like you had a very strong why and like what you wanted. And that really helped you during those inevitable times where maybe it was just free stuff, or maybe you didn't get the downloads that you wanted and the views you wanted. You knew what your core focus was. And often just being in the game long enough is very helpful for having your big break. So I thought that was great. Also having like a safety net kind of, you know, whether it's knowing the job market is always there, or, you know, having family and support system. I think that's really beautiful too. Okay, we have time for a couple more questions. So definitely put them in the Q&A box if you have them. A couple technical questions now. So shifting away from the inspirational, motivational story and back into the tactics, which is Reels. So there's a few questions I'm going to group together, right? Plami is saying that they get a good amount of Reel views, but no followers. Any tips for that? And then Andrea was actually saying, like, what about algorithms or hashtags for views on my Reels? Because sometimes Andrea is getting a ton of views on their Reels. Sometimes they're not. Doesn't really feel like there's a rhyme or reason. So let's talk a little bit about Reel engagement, like growing your views and then converting them to followers.
Okay, cool. So basically, with Reels, like TikTok, Reels, Shorts, I find that on a whole, again, I simplify it all the time because people get so caught up in their head with this sort of algorithm stuff. Good content is good content. It's gonna do well on any platform. If I post a TikTok and it gets 10 million views, I'm like, oh, this is epic. Because I know if I post on YouTube, it's gonna also do really well. But if I post something, it's like, it gets like 1,000 views on TikTok or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post this on YouTube. I'm still gonna do it because I'm posting every day because I'm not letting my ego stop me from posting. Like, oh no, it'll be low views. People will care. No one cares. No one's looking at your view count. But yeah, I'm gonna post the same thing on YouTube and it gets no views. That's because the good content is good content and bad content is bad content. People weren't engaged. Something went wrong. It doesn't mean the video necessarily at the core is bad, but it means maybe you need to try a different hook, or maybe you need to shorten the video from 30 seconds to 20 seconds because the algorithm is very much based on watch time. So if I can get someone to watch a video for 20 seconds and the video is 25 seconds, the platform goes, oh, this video is keeping up the audience on the platform, share it with more people because all they care about is keeping you on the platform. So my goal is always to try and get as much watch time as possible. That's why in my videos, a lot of the time I'll like the outro, I'll just recap like, boom, it's done. Like you don't even know the video is ending because you want to try and get people to the end. So yeah, watch time is important. And then I find Reels specifically shares are important. So if you can get people to share your video, I had a video the other day that was just a funny video in London, and that video got shared by 5,000 people. So 5,000 people, I created essentially 5,000 DMs. So, or like not even DMs, maybe that's like on the minimum, I made 5,000 DMs. On the maximum, I made 5,000 people that shared it to their story and got like tons of views. So I find that shares are important. If you can find a way to like hook people, like, or the video is engaging enough to make it interesting enough to share with someone, like, oh, this is interesting, or this is cute. But when it comes to consistency, it's a tough thing. The creator market these days, especially with building a following, it's so weird because you can have 10,000 followers or 1 million followers, and the views on the 10,000 account could be way more than the million. I find that we're moving quite away from like building a following per se, and we're sort of moving into just like, you're going to get, if you get results, you get results. If your content's good, it will get views. Views will get you brand deals or whatever. So outside of how many followers you have, because most of the time your videos are like getting seen by like 80% a new audience. Like the algorithm is really pushing to like, if I show you, let me like look at my latest video on TikTok and I'll have a look at right now what it was. So this one got 1.5 million views, and let me just have a look here. Okay, so 1.5 million views, and the audience was 89% For You page, 9% following, and I have 3 million followers on TikTok. So 3 million people on my account, 9% of my followers saw it, and 89% of like random people. So when it comes down to building a following, you can say like things like follow for more, or like make sure you hit that subscribe button or whatever, those sort of things. You can do that, and it is important like on certain platforms to push that narrative. But on a whole, people, if they like your shit, they're gonna follow. That's basically it. So that's why I'm a big advertiser on consistency with brand. I talked about personal branding. I could talk another hour about branding, but yeah, that's why I wear the hat. You know, some people think I'm going bald, which is probably the case, but also I just wear the hat because, you know, people recognize it. I always start my intro with my face because then it's like, that's that guy that travels. That's like it's gonna start as like, who is this? That's that guy that travels. Oh, I like this guy's content. Oh, this is Jorden. Oh, this is Jorden Tually, the travel guy from Australia. That's how it starts. So it's like, I'm being consistent with brand. So then eventually I'll get more followers because like people will just see my face, see it enough times, and then they will follow. That doesn't have to, if you don't want to put your face on your videos, be consistent with your edit, be consistent with your intro, like edit in a specific style that people go, oh, that's that guy that edits that way. Oh, that's that girl that like does that thing. I love how she edits. Oh yeah, that's Sarah, that girl that does that edit. Like, you know, it's the same thing. So I find that just being consistent with the way you're creating videos can be a massive help with that. But yeah, like again, good content is always going to do well, even if it doesn't, like, and if it doesn't do well and you remix it, post it again, just keep posting it. Like, this is another thing. People think like, oh, I've already posted that video. Yeah, you posted that video, got 100 views. You think that the same 100 people on the internet are going to see that video again? Maybe 3 people will see your video again and do this. Like, oh, I've seen that already. Boom, swipe, done. It's like 1 second of their life. So if you think it's a good video, repost it. The amount of like times I haven't been, like this year, I've had, even especially on YouTube, I am trying to post every day on YouTube, and it's really hard when I'm traveling full time, doing a bunch of other things. So it's really hard for me to post every single time. So I'll grab a video from 6 months ago and repost that on YouTube, because I'm trying to stay consistent and build my audience. And yeah, I had a success. Like, I had a video on YouTube go viral 6 months ago. I posted again. It gained another like 5 million views. The same video went viral again because the content was good, and the audience, it did get seen by some of my audience, and they commented like, I know this is a repost, but that's as far as it goes. And then new people will see it. So yeah, it's all about just sort of like, I guess, being consistent with your branding, consistent with your editing, and consistent with like recognizing that's how you get people to follow. But on a whole, like, you don't even need followers these days. Like, I could start a fresh account from scratch and I'd probably get more followers than someone else starting a fresh account from scratch, because I know how it works and I've done it enough, and I've put enough videos on the internet that I have enough data points to draw on, and I know what works. And that only comes with uploading. So you have to upload a lot. But yeah, hopefully that answered that.
Yes. No, we're over time. So let's leave them with one last question, because we've talked a lot about quantity, right? Create content every day, constantly record everything in your life, post every day. This is what it takes. But I mean, you're also very motivated by having an epic lifestyle, right? So I don't think you want to be spending your entire life on your phone. So what advice do you have for keeping that balance for people, to creating shortcuts, batching things, or just even mindset shifts, so that if we pursue this, we don't later realize like, what the heck am I doing? I'm just on my phone all the time, poolside in Bali with my phone. That's not the vibe. So let's end with that. You've been amazing, Jorden. I see some people are putting their links to their social medias in there, which is amazing.
Yes,
share each other.
Definitely
Leave us with some wise words.
Okay. Well, again, I'm not your typical guy. I understand, screen time, it's a big deal. A lot of people will have, you got to put your mental health first. So when it comes to screen time and trying to minimize that, definitely put yourself first, and don't let social media warp you into this world that's going to actually make your life unhappy. Lucky for me, I haven't really felt the effects of that. But what I would say is that to create the content, to create a short video, you only need a little bit of time to actually physically make the video. Pretty much all of the hard things to do is come up with the concept, come up with the idea, turn that idea into a story, turn that story into the video is that last little bit. So your brain doesn't need a screen to come up with ideas. If I have a concept, it will take me 30 minutes to film and edit, done. But the concept is strong, that's what's hard, constantly trying to get a good idea and turn that idea into a story. But I can do that in my head. So a lot of the time, I'm just going through your life, you can just be thinking of funny things I love avocados. I'm going to make a video about an avocado. Oh, a smashed avocado. Where does smashed avocado come from? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I should make a video about the origins of smashed avocado, because I'm going to go get an avocado. I know tomorrow I'm going to go order avocado at brunch with my friends. So then I can make I can get the content there. Okay, cool. So then it's a lot in your head. You don't have to like be on your phone all the time. You can just be constantly thinking of ideas, writing them down. So then when you go to execute, you can be like, bang, 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 done, posted, rather than constantly like filming and constantly whatever. So yeah, that's just one way to do it. And then if that works, turn it into a series. You know, where do the origins of smashed avocado come from? People like that, or maybe they didn't like it, but you liked it. So now you're going to talk about where the origins of sashimi, or the origins of a milkshake, or the origins of whatever. You can turn it into a series. And then if it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, you had fun making these videos. So yeah, you can just, a lot of that comes down to just brainstorming in your brain and writing down your notes. You don't need to be on your phone so much. But I'm sorry that I talked too much and we didn't answer too many questions, but we will have to do one of these again. I really hope you guys got something out of it. And remember, the SafetyWing's literally giving you $100 if you want. So it's like literally on the table. I mean, I'm probably going to do it. It's $100. Like in Mexico City, that's like 5 nights at the hostel I'm staying at. So like that's 5 nights of free travel for me if I make a video. So that's sick. But yeah, I hope it helped.
Amazing. It was so good. Thank you so much, Jorden. On that note, we're going to wrap up today. We're going to be sending out the recap of this. A few people asked about your slides. Will we get your slides too?
Yeah. Yeah, my slides. I really like, as I'm a graphic designer, like by trade. So, my slides, I might change them, make them look way more aesthetic. But yeah, I'm like so insecure to like give the slides. Like, oh no, people are going to see this. But yeah, you can get slides. I'll send a PDF. And we'll make sure like the email will have the PDF and the link to the YouTube video. And then also in the YouTube video description, we'll also make sure there is a link to download the slides.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to hit stop recording now. Bye, everybody. Bye, Jorden.
Bye. What the heck?